Out of all the times I've ever took my dogs on a walk, this was one of the craziest experiences I've ever experienced while walking my dogs. I know it's at nighttime, but I think it's the perfect time to tell the story because it's nighttime. So in this video, I'm going to be telling about this time I literally came face to face with a fox while I was walking my dog. It was a pretty close call, but if you're wondering, let's get into the story. So this story takes place in the year 2019. It was in early February, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was March. I think it was somewhere between February and April that the story takes place. It was a beautiful morning. So it was like probably late February, early March. It was a nice morning out, and the birds were out, the sun was shining, and well, there's a light breeze. And recently we had got our new puppy Piper. She was just born in 2018. And sadly, recently, before the story ended up happening, we had to put down our Great Dane named Sherman. He was with us from 2011 until 2019. So it was a very unfortunate thing that we had to put him down, but he's a Great Dane, and he was huge. He was like 130 pounds, and he was like 7 foot on his hind legs. So he was humongous. But we had recently just had one dog now. Her name was Piper, so this was like in late February or early March. And to set the record straight, I was really upset. However, on a Saturday morning, I was like, I'm gonna take the dog on a walk. So the first thing I do is I go into the kitchen and I grab some treats. And that's literally the first thing that I did. I just went to the kitchen, I grabbed some treats, put them in a plastic Ziploc bag, and then put them in my pocket. I didn't have a phone at the time, so I just kind of had a walkie-talkie on me. And then I grabbed my dog's leash. I went right out that door right there, except there was no AC at the time. It was in March. It was like 37 degrees that morning, so it was quite the interesting morning. Walking out the front door with the dog in one, while holding the dog's leash in one arm and the walkie-talkie in the other. So we did a pretty routine walk that morning, and that morning's walk was very similar to what I just did this evening. Literally 5 minutes ago, I just got back from that walk with my puppy Linguini. She is a German Shepherd, black German Shepherd dog, if you're wondering. And I took her on a similar trail. So we went down this driveway. Keep in mind, back in 2019, this gravel driveway wasn't a thing. So the driveway just ended right there, and it was just dirt. That barn didn't exist, neither did that chicken coop. Most of the cars we have here didn't even exist back in 2019. So we just took them on a walk down there, and we went into the woods. However, here's the thing. As I was walking into the woods, I heard some rustling. And I was like, all right, that's quite interesting. And the first thing that I took note of when that was happening was that, yeah, there's something back there, but I thought it was small. It didn't sound too big. And keep in mind, at the time, my puppy Piper, she wasn't really a puppy anymore. She was about like 58 pounds. She was about 4'2" on her hind legs. So I was just walking this dog. She is not a hard dog to work with. My puppy Linguini, though, she's like 4'6" on her hind legs. She's like 60 pounds almost. And she is a pain when I walk with the dog, because she keeps pulling the leash, especially down here where the chickens are at. She wants to go at them. And when we were coming back, there was a rabbit that she wanted to chase. However, Piper doesn't pull on the leash. She is a great dog. However, here's what happened. As soon as I got into that field back there, I walked close towards the woods, and I saw something crazy. As soon as I had walked into the woods, the first thing I took note of was that I also heard rustling sounds. And I look over, and I see a fox. Now keep in mind, foxes aren't big, but neither was my dog Piper. She's a Labrador Pitbull cross. You might think Pitbulls are big and scary, 80-pound beasts, behemoths that'll destroy anybody. My dog Piper is 60 pounds, not that big of a beast. And the only thing she's a beast at is chewing on stuff. Not as bad as my puppy Linguini, who literally took a shoe right out of my hands before. And she destroyed 2 pairs of my headsets too. Third one is literally ordered yesterday, so it's arriving here in 3 days. But my puppy is really bad at chewing. However, this time I saw this fox, and I immediately start panicking. Keep in mind, I was much younger at the time. This was 2019, so of course I was a squeaker, bro. Even in 2021, even into like early 2022, I sounded really high-pitched. 2022, my voice started to sound like it is nowadays, but like, I was much younger back then. So screaming at this thing was the first thing I did. I'm way taller than a fox. At the time, I think it was like 4'9", 4'10". So I was obviously a bit taller than that fox. So obviously it ran away, but it looked at me and the dog for like a good 2 or 3 seconds. The dog is just a tiny bit taller than the fox at the time, keep in mind. And then eventually I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here for like a minute to make sure the fox doesn't come back, and then I'm gonna walk back home, which is something you usually do in a situation like this. So I grab the dog, and then eventually we just go back into the house, and I give her her treats there. We do some work together, and that's it. It was a nice end of the story, right? Yep. No one was injured, no screams, cries, or anything like that was inflicted upon. If you're wondering, my puppy is actually in the windowsill. See her? She's right there. That's the puppy Linguini that I'm talking about. Destroying 2 of my headsets in the last 2 months, bro. That's a headset a month. What's next, bro? And the crazy thing is she got my wireless headset too, bro. That is something really annoying. However, fortunately, she's getting a little bit better at chewing on things, is what I would be saying if I took her on walks more consistently. However, as you probably know, recently in New England, it's been gross. Today was finally the first day where it was in the low 80s, and actually felt like it was in the low 80s. So today was a good day to do some work, hit the gym, you know, it was a pretty nice day for all that whatnot. However, back then, I took the dogs on a walk a lot more frequently. And sadly, since then, that stupid fox has found its way back to the farm and started preying on my chickens. First in 2021, then a big one in 2022, a couple times in 2023, and then I think a couple times this year as well, but that's it. And I hope that thing stays in the woods. Like, another quick little story time. This is a little bit of a side tangent, but it's another story time. This actually wasn't in 2019. This was literally in the big 2024. This was literally last month. I didn't have my dog with me though. That's why this story time's a little bit less interesting. But in the big 2024, back, I think it was June 16th or 17th, I was taking a walk through the upper fields, and this fox runs in front of me somehow. It was running away because obviously they're obviously really tiny compared to people like me. I'm like 5'11", so that thing's not gonna run in front of me. So it ran away, obviously, but that was the most interesting thing I saw in a while though. If you enjoy these story times, be sure to click that subscribe bell and that like button. You know, 2 things, not a lot I'm asking for. You can do one or the other if you want to. I'd recommend, if you're going to click subscribe, hit the like too to show some support. But also, if you want to see more farm story times, click the playlist on the screen right now, which has all the story times I've told so far. I'm getting a lot more into this interesting storytelling stuff because I think it's quite interesting to see, and I think you guys enjoy it a lot too. So I'll see you in the next one.